Welcome back. This is Matt from Jaggers Brewing Co. Today's project's going to be pre-Prohibition lager. So, how did we get here? Well, we'll talk about that in just a second. But this is a beer that I've had some trouble not drinking, basically. I had to disconnect the tap on it because it was a beer that I wanted to enter into competitions, especially after the first time that I had a little bit of it. I thought it was that good. So let's get into what we're seeing, smelling, tasting, all that real quick. To note, the head has kind of dissipated. It's a little bit far of a walk between the keezer and the table outside, so it went down a good bit. We do have some chill haze on it, but it's fairly clean and clear for the most part. I can see partially the camera through it. It is a little bit opaque, but I'm pretty happy with the clarity. It could probably be a little clearer, but some of that had to do with the grain bill, and we'll get into that in a moment. So on the nose, you smell a little bit of that like clean lager smell, that crispness. Picking a little bit up on the hop profile, a little bit of earthiness, very minor though. Has a very nice medium mouthfeel to it. Finishes kind of a little bit more on the sweeter side, the maltier side. Feels like the balance with the hops is pretty dead on, in my opinion anyways. Kind of get a little bit of a graininess, not doughy, kind of green bready taste there. A little bit of citrus on the back end tasting, but it's not overly expressive. And then it moves into a nice gentle like earthiness. This has kind of become a pretty good little crusher beer of mine. Like I said, I had to disconnect the tap because I kept going back to it and drinking it pretty frequently. So to make sure that I had enough, one, to film this video, and then two, to enter into competitions, I disconnected that tap. And so I did a live stream recently when we were brewing the California Common. I went in there and poured a beer, you know, for a sneak peek kind of thing, for all the viewers there to watch it, and unbeknownst to me, there was a broken O-ring on the keg, and so it leaked out about 3 gallons worth of beer out of that keg. So there's not a whole lot of this floating around anymore in there, and that's kind of depressing, but I need the space anyways. So I've got some other beers coming on tap there. So I needed to just go ahead and bottle this up with that new beer gun that I've got. But this is a really, really good beer. If you haven't had a pre-Prohibition lager, I really advise you to brew one, especially if you're looking for just a little bit more of a profile out of like a lager or pilsner, you know, something that's just got a little bit more malt backbone. This is pretty pleasant to drink, and this is probably the first lager, clear lager that I've brewed. I've done a Marzen, we've done the Dunkelsbach, so we've done a few lager type styles here so far, And this is I'm really happy with the way that this has turned out. I'm definitely going to brew it again here this summer. Today it's we're kind of in late April, so the days are getting a little longer, they're getting a little warmer, and this is going to be a very pleasant one to be drinking on into the summer, and I'm definitely going to have to brew another one for the summer for sure. Man, this is a really good beer. So how did we get there? So for the water and the profile there, you know, I've been adjusting my water profiles for a long time using RO water, and I decided that to really like hit this style, like, you know, what it's about and all that, I used the spring water here. So I didn't add any ions to it. I didn't use any water salts or anything like that to kind of beef it up. And I think that kind of helped out here with the general profile there, you know. It's got a little something to it, but not enough to be over the top and really affect it, you know. For this beer, for the grain bill, pretty simple. We used 81% 6 row to be like historically correct. You know, that was the malt that they had back then, and I'm pretty sure that's part of the reason that we don't have like crystal clear clarity here. We have a good amount of it, but it's not like looking through water anyways. Another contributing factor of that would be the 14.3% of flaked corn that we used, and to just give it just another little extra part of like the head retention and stuff, which, I mean, it's kind of faded away. We used 4.8% of the Carapils. You know, because this is a historical style, I went with cluster for a 26.5 IBU edition at 60 minutes. Continuing through the boil, we threw a Whirlfloc tablet in at the 15-minute mark, and then we used 6.7 IBUs worth of cluster for the 10-minute edition. To kind of just round out the last boil edition was the yeast nutrient that we put in at 10 minutes. Excuse me, wow. So we went ahead and chilled it down because I wanted, this being a lager, I wanted to like get fermentation going as quickly as possible. So we chilled it down, and with the Wort chiller, it's just a little thing that I'm doing nowadays, especially with these like beers that I want to enter into competitions and stuff. So I used that Wort chiller. I got it down to, I think it was right about 80-70 degrees here, and then I used my cool fermentation lagering little contraption, and then I brought that down to 48 degrees. I pitched 2 packets of American lager yeast, White Labs WLP 840, and I guess I could have saved myself an extra pack if I would have done a yeast starter. I felt like being lazy. You know, I kind of had a lot going on there, so during that time, so I went ahead and used two packs of that to get it going. For the fermentation and lagering aspect of it, so once I pitched at 48 degrees, I let it free rise to 50 for 3 days. I held it. Then I bumped it up 2 degrees to 52 for 3 days, and then bumped it up to 54 for 3 days, and then I just held it at 56 for about 7 days, and then after that I let it come up to room temp, held that for about 7 days. Then I went ahead and transferred it into the keg. I let it sit in the keg for, I don't know, 3 weeks, a month or so at that point, and then I just couldn't stand it anymore, and I had to take a sample, and after that it was just great. So for the OG here, we hit our target, which was going to be $10.53, and then we got down to $10.10. So I was pleasantly happy about that. Nice little light beer, got some good profile to it as far as the malt backbone and the hop profile. I don't think that I would necessarily change anything about this so far. You know, I think everything was, it went so smoothly with this beer. It came out great. Of course, I'll wait until some of those judging score sheets come back to make some adjustments maybe. But, you know, I mean, just, I cannot be any happier right now with this beer than I am now. I do wish that it had a little bit more head retention, so maybe I should have thrown in a little bit more Carapils. You know, I tried to mash out with this to try to keep it, you know, within style, and then, you know, the proper like instructions that we get for brewing and all that. So I don't know what else to say about this thing other than if you haven't tried it, you definitely should brew one. If you've brewed one and you think I missed the mark a little bit here, you know, please let me know. But like I said, I mean, just really super ecstatic about this thing. You know, as far as style guidelines go, I think we hit the mark pretty well on it. I'd have to really go back and familiarize myself with it, but it being a historical beer that requires, you know, 6-row and we need cluster and all that, I think we've got all those marks there, you know. Man, this is a tasty beer. I wish I could give every single one of you one of these. Fortunately, I can't. But, you know, let me know what you guys think. Really appreciate you stopping by, subscribing, liking, commenting, helping me grow this channel, helping me just grow in brewing, all the tips and stuff that you guys leave. So, cheers, guys. Thank you so much.